Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. We'll start with the breath of joy. So as you inhale, lifting the arms forward. As you inhale more, take the arms wide. As you inhale even more, lifting the arms forward. And as you exhale, lowering the arms. Keep going. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, inhale more, inhale even more, exhale. With the next exhalation through the mouth. Add a smile. Add a bend to the knees. Wonderful. Breathing normally now, we'll add a twist, gentle twist from side to side. If you're looking after knees, keep the legs straight and the hips facing forward. As you settle into the movement of the twist, could match to your breath. However many rotations you can fit with your breath. Perhaps a sense of growing tall with each inhalation and softening into the twists with each exhalation. Head can turn if you wish, gaze at eye height, or if this makes you feel dizzy, keep the twist going but face forward. You can speed up if you wish. And slowing down and come to face forward once more. Lovely. Glad you're joining in. We're going to come onto hands and knees now, ready for, yes, cat. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful cat. Rounding one way, arching the other. Match to your breath if you wish. After a few counts, you might like threading the needle, adding a twist, taking one hand, threading it through under the other arm, shoulder near the floor, underneath where the breastbone was, pushing down on the hands. Inhalation draws you up, exhalation, thread the other hand through, shoulder underneath the breastbone, pushing on the hand that stays on the floor. Could inhale, hands and knees, exhale, threading the needle, or you could stay and threading the needle for longer. If you wish, as you inhale, you could lift the arm before threading through. Returning to hands and knees, and then to tiger. Tiger is like cat, but you let one leg join in. Perhaps 2 or 3 on one side, swapping over sides. If you wish, you can hold the leg up for a few breaths. Swapping sides. If you wish, you could take one hand off the mat, reach behind towards the foot, open up to the side, keep the knee lifted. There's a trick to this posture. Start with the knee in the center of the mat and the feet near the edge of the mat. This gives you a firmer foundation for your lift. If you wanted, you could hold opposite foots. We don't really have opposite foots. Opposite hand and foot. Keep the knee lifted. Keep the breath gently flowing. Keep the smile on the face. Fantastic. Rest for a moment in swan or child. And onto your front for cobra. Lengthening legs away, trunk of the body forward, pubic bone to the mat. An inhalation draws us up, and an exhalation lowers. Next time you lift, if you want to stay up in cobra, you can stay in cobra. If you'd like a twist, very carefully looking over one shoulder. Back to center, other side. Good match to your breath. Inhale, face forward. Exhale, twisting one way. Go very carefully with backs. Strong back bend and a twist. Returning to the mat. Could bring the hands down to the sides now. And lift forehead, chin and arms. And breathe. You don't have to lift very far. Feel the muscles of the back of the shoulders working to hold you here. Could work with each breath, lifting as you inhale, lowering as you exhale. Or you could come up and hold and breathe. And smile. Next time you return to the floor, bring the hands under the forehead and we'll lift the legs. Perhaps one leg to start. Lift on an inhale, lower on an exhale. Lifting at the knee. If you wish, lifting both knees. And on your third lift, holding for a few breaths. Very nice. Resting for a few moments, maybe on your front, maybe pushing back onto hands and knees and into swan or child. If you like this work on your front, we'll do a little bit more. So bending one knee, taking one hand behind, pushing down on the arm that's on the floor, and maybe get hold of one leg. Facing forward and breathe. Lift the knee if you want to. Half bow. Few breaths there. Swapping over sides. Keep the pubic bone pushed into the mat. Releasing when you've worked both sides. Resting for a moment, and when you're ready, place the hands by the side of the chest, pushing up onto hands and knees, and bottom back to child or swan posture. When you're ready, we'll come into downward dog. From hands and knees, tuck the toes under. Inhale, stay still. Exhale, down dog. We'll work a few movements with the breath. Inhaling, hands and knees. Exhaling, down dog. Stronger with the bottom back. After a while, you can stay in your dog, have a wriggle. You wish, one-legged dog, looking under the armpit, taking the leg behind you, knee high. Swapping sides. Could work with each breath. Perhaps inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, feet on the floor. Returning to child or swan when you're ready. Once more into down dog. Walk the feet forward into forward bend. Then coming to sitting with the legs out in front. Well done, very nice. And inhale, grow tall, and exhale, twisting one way. Inhale, back to center, grow tall. Exhale, twisting the other way. Keep going in your own time. If you have tight hamstrings, you can bend the knees or sit on a cushion. After a while, might like to bend one leg and cross it over the other one, holding with the opposite hand, wrist, elbow. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, twisting towards the bent knee. You could hold for a few breaths. Each inhalation, growing tall. Each exhalation, softening into the twist. The other leg is straight, heel away, toes to the ceiling. Inhalation draws us forward, releasing, swapping legs. Bend one leg, cross it over the opposite one, holding with the opposite hand, wrist, elbow. Settling into the twist, shoulders relaxed. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, softening into your twist. When you've you've worked equally on both sides, releasing, and you might like a forward bend. May like to come up and down with the breath. Inhalation, grow tall. Exhalation into the forward bend. You could come all the way up with the inhalations. You could just come up an inch or half an inch. Heels away, toes to the ceiling. Giving the muscles time to lengthen in the back of the legs. And the inhalation draws us up once more, and you may like counter posture, just arching the spine the other way, Felix Stowe Beach posture. Going to come to lie on our backs now, ready to work with the hip joints. And as you settle and lengthen onto the mat, tucking the chin gently in, lengthening the sides of the neck. And we'll do hip circles with the knees. Exploring the range of the hip joints. Reversing direction. Return the feet to the floor and cross the legs at the thighs if they will, not the shins, the thighs if they will. And draw the legs towards you and hold wherever you can reach. One of the knees maybe, or around the thighs. You could use a belt if you need to. And gently encourage the knees towards you. Feet are relaxed. Could have a little look at the nearest leg. And this is a position that is similar to the pigeon posture. Releasing, maybe bicycling movement or hip circle movements, and then cross the other thigh over, draw the legs towards you and encourage the legs closer towards you, holding on wherever suits you. Notice if there's a difference between your two sides. Notice where you feel the stretch, what stops the knees coming closer to you. And in all these stretches, we want to feel the stretch in the muscles rather than in the ligaments of the joint. Releasing when you've worked both sides equally, bicycle or hip circles, just releasing the knees. You might like soles of the feet together, knees apart. And we'll draw one leg in towards you. Encourage knee towards the same shoulder. Extend the other leg away from you. Extending the other leg anchors the pelvis. We'll point both toes for a moment, just gently, and then heel away, toes towards you. Encouraging the knee towards you with each exhalation. Swapping over sides. Pointing the toes for a moment, extend the heels for a moment, Soften the knees towards you as you exhale. As you return to the first side, draw the knee to the same shoulder, but the ankle to the opposite hip. Want to feel the movement or the stretch in the hip rather than the knee joint. If you feel it in your knee or you have knee issues, don't do it. A little bit of flexion in the ankles, heel away. Bring stability into the knee joint. Then releasing, swapping over sides. Knee to the same shoulder. Heel to the opposite hip. Heel away. Toes towards you. Breath or two there. Notice how it feels. We should be working in the hip joint or the muscles all around that hip, not the knee. Releasing, doing anything you'd like to do. Bicycle, hip circles. You might like bridge posture. This is upside down pigeon, pigeon pie. If you like this, going to come up the other way and work with our pigeon the more traditional way up. This way we use the whole of the weight of the body to encourage stretching into the muscles around the hip joints. So do go very carefully. Hip issues, knee issues, you may prefer to stay upside down in pigeon pie. Okay, a block or a cushion might be useful in a few moments. So we'll repeat what we've just done, but this way up. From hands and knees, bring one knee under its same shoulder, heel under the same hip, wriggling the back leg back. A moment or two there to settle into pigeon. Gauge pelvic floor a little. Smile. Could be on your hands, could be on your elbows, whichever suits you. To swap sides, you may find hands and knees, nice way to go between, or you might like down dog in between. Same knee, same shoulder, same ankle, same hip joint. Wriggling the back leg back. Breath or two there. Notice where you feel the stretching. Decide if this is nice and kind for your body. If so, you can continue to the next stage. Knee under same shoulder. Heel under opposite hip. Flex the ankle, gently wriggle back to pigeon posture. Could be on your hands, could be on your elbows, both are fine. Flex the ankle, bringing stability to the knee. Notice how it feels. Is it a nice stretch? Releasing, swapping over sides. Bit of tone, pelvic floor. Bit of a smile, shoulders relaxed. Staying in your pigeon for longer if you want to. Releasing, maybe down dog, maybe a cat posture where you stretch one leg away at a time. Before we go any further with our pigeons, I'm just going to talk through some points about them. This flexion of the ankle, bit of tone in the ankle, does help bring stability into the knees. Pigeon is supposed to work in the hip joints, but unfortunately the knee joint is used as a lever to work on the hip joint. So if you have any issues at all with your knees, you might not like pigeon. The idea with pigeon is to keep the hips level. There's a tendency to roll to one side, or the hips to move to one side, but you want to endeavour to keep them both facing forward. There's also a tendency for one hip to drop, and a block might be useful there, or a few blocks to stick under the buttock or under the leg to keep the pelvis level. We want always to work to stretch the muscles rather than the ligaments. And how do you know you're doing that? The only way to do that is to go gently and carefully, little bit by little bit. Perhaps do some one day and then see how you feel the next, and then a little bit more the next day, and so on. Reasons for doing such a posture as pigeon is that it may be beneficial for you. It could be very good for hip joints, especially if you do quite a lot of activities. Walking, cycling is a nice way to open up the hips. Also, if you're fairly stationary in your life, you're doing quite a lot of sitting, perhaps driving long distances, pigeon can be really good for that. It stretches the piriformis muscle between the top of the leg bone and the sacrum, base of the spine. And this muscle, if it's tight, may lead to sciatica, so it could be beneficial for sciatica. Some people find it very beneficial for back issues, but you have to try and see what it's like for your back. Things you can do to make this stretch even more beneficial is when you come into your pigeon, notice where your knee is. Can be directly under the same shoulder. The more you bring it into the center of your body, perhaps in line with the breastbone, the more the stretch is through that piriformis muscle and through the hips. So you decide where you want your knee. The other thing that affects this stretch is the angle of the knee. If you're extremely flexible there, some people can bring their foot up so the knee is more at 90 degrees. Personally, that is far too much leverage for my knees, so I like my foot close to the ankle. When you're in your pigeon, pelvis facing forward, hips towards the floor, pelvic floor lifted. You could come onto your elbows, folding forward over that front leg. This stretches that piriformis muscle even further. If you wanted to, you can take the arms out in front, forehead to the floor. Maybe one hand on top of the other, forehead resting. Give the body time to settle. When you're ready to come out, maybe hands and knees, maybe down dog. Moving the block to the other side. Knee forward, hip towards the floor. Use the block if you're tending to roll. Tend to roll to one side. You want to keep the pelvis level, both facing forward in terms of that way and moving that way. Pelvic floor gently lifted, other leg reaching behind you. Good. Come onto your elbows, folding over that front leg. Stretching forward. or resting forehead on the hands. You may, from here, like to come onto hands closer towards you, lifting the breastbone, lifting the chin. I like to call this one proud pigeon, shoulders relaxed, tailbone tucked under. Swapping sides once more. And proud pigeon, if you want to, on the other side. When you've worked enough with pigeon, we'll come into maybe down dog for a wriggle or two, and into swan or child, or this variation of child, knees apart, feet together, and sitting back. Fantastic, well done for joining in. There are a few more versions of pigeon if you really are a pigeon fancier. So joining in if it's suiting you, or miss this bit out. So into your pigeon. Use the block if need be. Settle in. Lift the breastbone. Tuck the tailbone. Release the hands off the mat. Maybe take the arms wide. Flying pigeon. Breath or two there. Swapping sides. Settling for a moment or two first. Tuck the tailbone. Maybe lifting the hands. You don't have to lift the hands, you could just reduce the weight through the hands. When you return to your first side, once more, it's time just settling into the pigeon, bit of tone pelvic floor, bit of tone in the ankle. If you wanted, you could twist. One way is easier to twist than the other, so go for the easy side. You may allow the pelvis to roll a little this time, so you're sitting on one buttock. Go really carefully with knee issues here, and if you're prone to cramps in the back thigh, but you could very, very carefully bend that back leg. Maybe take hold of the leg and smile, a twisted pigeon. If you were so inclined, you could turn to face forward. Possibly reach behind with both legs. No, their hands. Reach behind with both hands. Push the foot into the hand. Crazy pigeon. Releasing. And we'll swap sides. Maybe down dog for a moment or two. Move the block if you're using the block. Settle into pigeon. Allow the weight to roll onto one buttock, twisting one way. Maybe very carefully bend the back leg and take hold of the back foot, turning to the side. Possibly hold the foot the other way, twist the face forward, reach with both hands, push the foot away, crazy pigeon. Releasing, down dog, good wriggle. And into the wide-kneed child posture. May prefer elbows wide, one hand on top of the other, relaxing to frog. Feet together, knees apart, relax the hips. Well, that's absolutely brilliant. Well done for joining in the bits that suited you. We're now going to come onto our backs for relaxation. Ensure you are warm enough, so maybe socks on, maybe a blanket. Have a wriggle, settle into your mat. Lengthen and wriggle. The hard work is over. Time now to relax. Close your eyes if you wish, or soften the gaze. Nothing to do now except relax the physical body. Become aware of one leg and gently straighten it away from you and give the leg a gentle wriggle. Feel the contact you make with the floor and relax. Straighten the other leg away from you and give it a gentle wriggle. Feel the contact you make with the floor and relax. Notice how the exhalations encourage the legs to relax. Become aware now of your trunk of the body and have a gentle wriggle. You could keep the legs straight, or if you prefer, you can bend the legs. The bent legs give more support for the lower back. So however you like the legs, have a wriggle. Allow the trunk of the body to relax and soften to the floor. With each exhalation, relax the trunk of the body. Become aware now of one arm and hand, and give the arm and hand a gentle wriggle. Find a comfortable place for you, maybe hand on the tummy, maybe arm a little way away from you, palm facing the ceiling, or any comfortable place. Feel where the arm makes contact with the floor, and use each exhalation to relax. Take your awareness to your other arm and have a gentle wriggle, just finding a comfortable place for that arm, symmetrical with the first if it will. Feel where the arm makes contact with the floor and relax. Use each exhalation to relax. Take your awareness now to your shoulders and have a gentle wriggle. Allow the shoulders to relax to the mat, softening, widening. Feel where they make contact with the floor and relax. Use each exhalation to relax. Take your awareness now to your head, the weight of the head, and have a gentle roll of the head, side to side and up and down. Find a comfortable place for the head. Sides of the neck long, weight of the head relaxed into its support. And relax. Take the awareness now to your face and gently wriggle the face. And bringing the face to a comfortable place. And relax. Allow the face to relax into a gentle smile. Aware now of the whole physical body and have a gentle wriggle. Ensure the body is comfortable and easy and relax. Use each exhalation to relax. The whole physical body relaxed. peaceful. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Gently now, beginning to awaken, bringing movement to hands and feet and arms and legs and head and face, having a stretch if you wish, and hugging the knees if you wish, a rock, a wriggle, rolling onto one side when you're ready, waiting there for a moment. And coming up to sitting. That's the end of this video. Thank you for joining me. Shanti. Peace.